All right, welcome back everybody. This is Dylan with D Squared Games talking about this new pocket-sized civilization building game that Dara and I received a prototype copy of. This is Age of Civilization. And if you haven't already, make sure that you go watch the first video in this set of videos where I talked about kind of the overall round structure of the game and gave a little bit of information about how the game works and then gave kind of our overall thoughts about the game. Just spoiler alert, we like the game a lot. But if you want some more detailed information about how the game works and stuff like that, go back and watch that first video. In this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about some of the more detailed things about the game and then just kind of show you how a turn would work. So again, here is the game. And in this instance of the game, the first three actions that came up in the timeline were culture, build, and conquest. And so those are the three actions that are available in addition to these three actions on the permanent action card, which are wonder, research, and enslave. As the first player, I start with 3 coins. And so my first choice I have to make is which of these 5 civilization cards I would like to be my primary civilization card. So I am going to select the France civilization card. And this civilization card's primary ability is that when you perform the conquest action, you will not lose your meeple, which you normally would, and you get an extra point when you do your conquest action. And then its secondary ability is that it has a shield down here. So I'll select that as my primary civilization. When you select that as your primary civilization, you then get a certain number of meeples, which is shown on the left side of the card. And so for France, I get 3 meeples. And then for every one of these civilizations that's left, we will place a coin from the supply on those cards and then draw a new card, which we will have to choose from. So then the next thing you're going to do on your turn is place your workers and figure out which actions you want to take. So in the case of this turn, I took the France civilization, and they're really good at conquesting. So it would make the most sense for me to take that action. And then you place the worker and then resolve the action. So if you have the most shields, you will get 2 points. So that's what the conquest action does. If you have the most shields, you will get 2 points. And so what happens then is you compare your number of shields to every other person that is playing. So if you have the most, then you'll get points. I currently have 1 shield because of the secondary ability on the bottom of the France card. And in the solo game, it is just an ever-increasing number of shields for the AI opponent. So in the first round, they have 0 shields, and I have 1. So that will give me 2 points, plus an extra point for being France. So that would give me 3 points on the score track. Then I still have 2 more workers left, and you don't have to place all your workers in a round. If you don't like the actions that are available or anything like that, then you're not required to place all of your workers. I only have 3 money, so I cannot do the wonder action, which costs 7, or the research action, which costs 4. I could enslave my worker and get 2 money and then do this research action, or the culture action, which costs 4. But I don't want to lose my workers because I need them. So instead, what I would do is I'm going to do the build action. And the build action requires you to place 2 workers and pay $2 to get 2 points. So I will place those 2 workers, pay $2 to the supply, and get 2 more points, which puts me at 5 total points. Then it would go to the next player's turn. But before it would go to the next player's turn, you have to do what is called resolving your workers. And this is where it matters if you placed your workers on a white action space or a red action space. So these 2 workers that I placed on the build action space, since that's a white action space, I get those guys back. And then normally, this conquest action, since it's a red action space, I would lose that worker. But since I'm France, I do not lose that worker. So I still have my full set of 3 workers. Then each other person that is playing the game with you would select one of these civilizations, take any money that's on them. They would also select their actions and resolve them the same way that I just did. And then after that, the permanent action card, this 3 action card, will slide 1 card to the right. And now the culture card, which was available, is now not available anymore. So that action is no longer available for the rest of the game. The new action that is available is the trade action, which the trade action allows you to take 2 coins, but it allows every other person to take 1 coin as well when you do that action. So now, also, when you slide the card to the right, it unlocks this new action, which is trade. But then you also need to look in the top left corner of the card here. And if there's a sword symbol there, that means that you're going to have conquest between the players. And so this works the same way as if someone takes the conquest action. You check to see if someone has the fewest shields. So whoever has the fewest shields will lose one of their meeples. So since I have 1 shield from my special ability from being France, I have 1 shield, and the AI opponent, since it's between the first and second round, still has 0 shields. And so I would be having the most shields, they would have the fewest shields. So I would not lose a meeple, essentially. And now I would have these 6 actions to choose from again. On the second round, I then have the choice of selecting one of these new civilization cards if I would like to. When I select one of those new civilization cards, I have to either replace my primary ability on my card or my secondary ability on my card. But since I didn't lose any of my workers during that first round, it might not necessarily be wise to select a new civilization. It would especially be a good idea to select a new civilization to replenish your workers if you weren't able to do anything on your turn because you had lost a bunch of your workers in previous rounds. And so, yeah, so that's pretty much how the game works. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But make sure you go back and watch that first video about how the overall game kind of works and what we think of it. But yeah, make sure that you look out for this game when it comes to Kickstarter in February. And I hope that you guys have found this video helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, thanks.